Hey everybody, welcome to Bura Tech. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Shopify's decision to allow everyone to work from home. Alright, welcome back. Before we start this video, I want to make sure that you like and subscribe. The more likes and subscribers we get, the more content we can make. Remember that this channel doesn't do a Patreon. Instead, we sell our digital products down below. The more money we get from the content that you buy below, the more videos we can make. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about Shopify's decision to allow people to work from home. So if you don't know what Shopify is a company that makes e-commerce pages, and it's a very big deal in Canada. In fact, it's one of Canada's, if not the most important tech company in Canada. In fact, Shopify recently was more valuable than one of the banks in Canada. And this is really interesting because if you don't already know, the banks in Canada are a major part of the economy. So Shopify is a really good company and it has a very good business model. And the fact that it's in Canada is kind of interesting. Maybe that's a topic for another video. But let's talk a little bit about their decision to work from home. Now, if a company like Shopify that's incredibly valuable and an incredibly good company can do it, how many other companies are going to do that? Now, Facebook just recently announced that 40% of people want to work from home completely, and that 50% want some kind of blended work at home and work in the office. And you can't really blame people. Facebook is, of course, in Silicon Valley, and the rents and the property values are incredibly high. And why should you pay top dollar to go to an office when you can get paid a different amount and work from home? Like I said in another video, which you should definitely check out right here, instead of working in Silicon Valley, you can maybe have a huge house in the country on acres of land, and you can get paid top dollar. And this is something that is absolutely going to happen in the future. COVID-19 has opened this door, and it's going to change work forever. So there are people that want to live in a big city, and there are other people that don't necessarily need to. And as technology gets better and as internet gets better, you might be able to live in the country with all the amenities of a big city lifestyle. And this is interesting because you used to have to move to a big city to actually make any money. Now, that is probably going to be turned on its head. In that recent article, Facebook did say that they are going to pay people less who don't want to come into the office. And this makes sense. You're going to take a hit on your income to work from home. But if you really do the math, you can live in a very good place and you don't have to spend money on gas or any kind of money on commuting, and you'll actually end up making more money at the end of the day, even though you're getting paid less. And if you do a really good job while working from home, you might be able to get to your original salary position anyway through bonuses and basically salary appreciation. Now, of course, if you want to be, let's say, a programmer for Facebook, you have to be really good and you have to make sure that your job is secure. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you're constantly producing. That is a topic for another video, but being productive at home can be very challenging. Now, again, if you live in the country, maybe you have acres of land and you have your house and you maybe walk down a small little path to your office, and your office can be another structure on your property. This might be something that appeals to a lot of people. You can have your entire office, you can deck it out in any way you want, and it's not that far from your house. It's a simple walk. You can make your coffee in the morning and then just simply walk to work. And this totally beats commuting an hour in one of the big cities to an office, and you don't even get a custom private office. Now, of course, this isn't going to be for everyone, but I think it's going to happen more and more. Now, if you live in the United States, there are a lot more property options. And of course, this differs from country to country, but in Canada, you don't have as many services in the rural areas as you do in the major cities. So I bet you a lot of people from Shopify will probably move around the Ontario region because Ontario does have a lot of good services compared to a lot of the other places in Canada. So If you are working at Shopify, then perhaps you might even get paid the same amount and you get to move to a farther away place and maybe commute into the office once a month or once every other month or once a quarter or maybe even once a year for a company retreat. And I think that's going to be kind of interesting because you're going to have meetings on Zoom every day and then you'll finally meet those people in person. And that's always a little bit different. So these are two major companies that are allowing people to work from home, and I bet there's going to be a lot more working from home in the future. Now, remember, working from home is good and bad, and it might not be right for you. Personally, I was working from home in one shape or another since I was 20 years old. I've always had some kind of side hustle or business going on, and once I decided to stop working from home, I don't really ever want to do it again. I like coming to my office, I like walking to a place, and I definitely like being in my solitary office. This is something where I get to focus, there are no distractions. I also have kids, which is a whole other factor when you work from home. And that's why I think a lot of people might move to the country to have a big property where they can go to a separate building to work, because the kids will be very distracting. Now, of course, they might have to be driven to school, and once they're in school, it's a lot different than when they're a toddler. But I still think that if there needs to be some kind of isolation, the best way to do it is on a huge property in the country. But going back to my personal taste, I personally like walking to an office every day. In fact, when I did work from home and I started walking to the office, I did notice a little bit of change in my overall health. I was a little bit healthier just walking 20 minutes to work or maybe biking 10 minutes. And this is something that is really hard when you're working from home, is to get enough exercise. I also play ultimate frisbee in my spare time. I try to bike and hike and ski, because when you work from home all day long, you need to get out there and you need that kind of social interaction. Even though I'm an introvert, I still need some kind of social interaction. So usually my spare time is spent on actually doing something physically active, and I highly recommend that you do it as well. Now, of course, this is really hard to do, especially in a pandemic and you have to social distance, but there's a light at the end of this tunnel, and once we get there, I think that society is going to be a much better and more productive place. And I will be making a video about that in the future, so be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Is Shopify and Facebook right to allow people to work from home? I want to hear your comments down below. Remember that this channel doesn't do a Patreon, instead we sell our digital products down below. The more money we get from the content that you buy below, the more videos we can make. If you really want to help with this channel, you can subscribe to Mammoth Interactive's huge library of content. We release 20 to 60 hours of fresh new content per month. There are monthly options and yearly options. Our goal is to get to 10,000 paid subscribers per month, and we need your help to get there. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. Not only do you make this YouTube channel possible, you make Mammoth Interactive possible. And by the way, we have lots of tutorials on game development, app development, machine learning, Blender, and lots more. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in another video.